That's right. You need to be recording.
Oh, okay.
Are you?
For Tracy, we're really good buddies.
Oh, I agree. It's just I haven't thought of anything.
I haven't either. I'll see you later, Greg.
I'm not supposed to wait for people. They're going at home. I know. Oh, that is terrible. Five secret things. There are a couple secrets, so you need something.
You're such a sonic on
Tennis might give them the soul.
if things start hitting you while you're on the altar, that's me, the third row.
Okay. Cool.
Break you off.
What happened to the first one? What happened to the second one? Okay, I should keep my fingers.
Haven't seen you in a while. George Simon. How you
Good to see
doing?
you, George. How are you?
Doing fine. I hope you have a great week.
Thank you. You too.
Just
Is he happy with that you guys talked to my wife, I don't know if you met Cindy before. She's who started the Southeast Wine Food Festival, and he's friends with all, we should connect on that level. Because she's involved in a lot of that kind of activity. And, the Southeast Wine and Food Festival donates 100% of the net proceeds to something called the Florida International University Hospitality Program.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's that connection. But we know some cool success stories of who we did just that. We're trying to chase down Bruce, let me hit the notes.
Sorry we're so late. I wish we could have gotten here earlier. Well, I would have liked to have a little alone time with you in the morning. And this is like another one that you look beautiful, enjoy. It's like a writing section. You're not going to remember that. We'll make sure that you've got wine and food. I'm going to get you wine.
is Grace. See you soon.
Hello. Thank you very much. All right, good evening, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ben Buchanan, and I'm the music director here at St. John's. But more relevant to each of you tonight, I have been asked to be the master of ceremonies here. And we are here tonight, of course, to celebrate someone very special, Tracy Bruce. And I would like to share with you that, well, you know, I'm not absolutely certain, but I'm pretty sure that Tracy is my favorite person I've ever worked with. But I don't know for sure, though, because I'm so bad with names. Does anyone have eyes on Tracy? Is that her over there? Oh, never mind then. But of course, I do love Tracy, and there are a lot of people here that love Tracy. And I need to introduce some of them. But before that, we all came here to celebrate Tracy, but I wanted to take a second to celebrate someone else who is special. Life moves us in strange ways, and we develop a wide array of tastes, and some peculiar penchants pop up. So isn't it amazing that we all have such well-known skills of determining who and what we celebrate, that we all chose to come here tonight to celebrate this spectacular leader, priest, and friend? So I'd like to take a second to celebrate each of you for having such good taste. So, that being said, I have some people to introduce. We have several family members of Stephen and Tracy in attendance. And if you could just maybe wave so we can recognize you. Christian Hafner, along with Oliver and Lewis.
Oh, we don't know what they are.
Welcome, Christian, all the way from San Diego. And Christian's wife, Allie Jones, at work and cannot be with us, but she's with us in our hearts. Ann and Tim Hurley are here. Parents of Elliot, Adair, and Willa, are they here as well?
Only Adair here, Elliot.
Well, I hope to see Elliot better tomorrow morning at Children's Club. Peter and Liz Hafner are here. Where are they? Parents of Solomon and Dean. And Andrew, Tracy's nephew, is here somewhere as well. Stuart Davenport, Caitlin, Reed, and Levon, and Christopher and Avelina from Washington, D.C. Where are y'all? And David and Cindy Bruce, Tracy's brother and sister-in-law. Welcome. And we also welcome Lucian and Cassie Francois. Where are y'all? All the way from Berlin, Wisconsin. And Devon is back. Devon, Roy Contant Royal. And we also have some former associates here tonight. Joe Cochran, here with his wife. Good to see you again, Joe. I'm blinded by the glare off the head, man. Caroline Stewart, sorry about that. It's confusing when the name is written twice in different letters. Is here with her husband Bill, where y'all have not had the pleasure. Oh, they're not here. They're here with our hearts. Okay. Richard Parker and Emily Rose, former associates, had hoped to be here, but tomorrow is Christ the King Sunday, and that is the name of the church serves, so that will be their annual feast day. Okay, just a few more, and then it's channel time after a musical offering. We also have some friends of Tracy and Stevens joining us tonight. Bill McLennan, former director of Paul's Place, and Robin, where are y'all? Up there. Welcome. And we have Elovina and Bruce Laboon, and sons Clay and Dylan, longtime dear friends from Philadelphia. And David Small is here with his goddaughter. David is an architectural archaeologist turned advocate for the Palestinians and a good friend of Tracy's and Stevens from Atlanta, and a travel companion for several trips to the Holy Land and an accomplice in smuggling Palestinian children into the West Bank. So, David, I hope that didn't give you too hard of a time at coach check and you didn't have to smuggle your goddaughter. Mary Hancock is here, Jared's mom, all the way from Pittsburgh. And I'd like to welcome back choir members Miranda Rugman from Silver Spring and Thomas Swain from New York. So, a lot of people are here, and my girlfriend too. But I'm wondering, who traveled the farthest to get here? I'm pretty sure it's probably Christian Hafner, but did anyone travel more than like 6 hours to get here? Debbie, more than 6 hours?
16.
Wow. Let's give Debbie a hand. And I had my people poll everyone in attendance to find out who traveled the shortest distance. And I have the answer here. So, can I get a drum roll, please? The person who, oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, the person who traveled the shortest distance to get here tonight, Stephen Davenport. Give him a hand. Stephen, I have a fully gold St. John's kazoo for you as your prize. So I'll bring it to you. So just one more quick announcement before we do our musical offering for you. There's a camera in the back next to, you might be confused, it's not actually Tracy and Stephen, it's actually cutouts of them, but there's a camera in between with a microphone there. If you'd like to be a little testimonial for our video archives, and it will also, just so you know, be live on YouTube, you're welcome to do that as we mingle and enjoy our dinner. And without further ado, I'd like to bring up the choir to present Ain't Got Time to Die.
Your hand.
Lord, keep so busy praising my Jesus. Keep so busy praising my Jesus. Keep so busy praising my Jesus. Ain't got time to die. 'Cause when I'm healing the sick, when I'm healing the sick, when I'm healing the sick, praising my Jesus. Ain't got time to die. 'Cause it takes all of my time, praise my Jesus. All of my time, praise my Lord. I don't praise Him, the rocks won't cry out. Glory to God, glory to God. Lord, I keep
thank you, and I'd like to turn it over to Thomas.
The Lord be with you. Let us pray. The eyes of all wait on your Lord, give them their food in due season. Lord, the changing seasons of our lives at the moment, not just change from fall into winter, but the end of this 17 years with Tracy as our rector. We give you thanks for those years, for those seasons. We thank you for that ministry among us. We thank you for this community gathered here tonight. We thank you for the work that you give us to do in your life. We thank you for everyone that's made this evening possible, for the company we enjoy tonight, and for the abundance of your table. In Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.
People good to eat now. I mean, eat the food. Okay, I'm getting nods, so I think bon appetit. Okay, I figured out what the sandwich was. We may go down this table this that time. I think we will be back next time.
I can see this really quiet.
I like for some innocent things, but not that.
We have discussions about
One more quick announcement, excuse me, one more quick announcement. I just have one more quick announcement. I've been asked, I've been asked to instruct you to be aware, rather than instruct you, that there's an additional dining room upstairs in the chapel. So if you're looking, they're not quite ready yet. So if you can hold off just a few more minutes, and then we'll let you know when it's ready. Sorry about that.
And maybe up there.
I'm going to do a seat for you right up there. Get these cables out of the way.
You should see the choir that the justice made. You sound like a Protestant. You sound like you were, because we were a Presbyterian. You sound like you were in a church. She goes, well, what was the occasion? I'm like, Mom, Halloween. But when they walked up the aisle as maidens to take communion, I guess she allowed in costumes and sword church to sit there while this baby was getting baptized. And you see the parents sort of like the first 4 rows on the right hand side, the mom, the grandmother. But she's so good about that. That kid's the kids. Where are those guys? Where are your kids? Filming? No, Jamie's the kids. Okay. And Austin. No, it wasn't Austin. It was one time.
Great.
And he like wanted to do it, right? He like pushed it.
Oh, yeah. So we went to boarding school. She has been working for Steeple for 23 years. She walks in one day, the whole department gets laid off. No notice, no acknowledgement, nothing. She sees, she's like, every day, my girl walks out of the office and sobbing. She's like, we're all gone. So whatever group she was in after 23 years. So she actually had the broken heart thing. She had a heart attack. She's okay now, but literally, I have to say,
Like that day.
like 2 days later, she was like, she called Kevin. She said, my neck hurts. Something's happening to me. I'm not sure what it is. He's like, okay, I'll be there. Anyway, pardon my French because I'm telling the story verbatim. Some little guy walks into the into the emergency room, and she said, my friend, she looked at the guy and she said, I am not having a fucking heart attack. She said, I don't eat any fat. I exercise 2 hours a day. This and that, and I'm not over and over again. Get me something that knows I'm not having a heart attack. And this guy freaks out and goes again, and she had a broken heart. She literally called broken heart syndrome. Her son went to boarding school, and she had that whole department at Steeple after 23 years. And whatever the syndrome is, it's called broken heart.
Wow.
She's fine, but she's wound tight.
She's really close to like a bear.
Yeah, but she's wound really tight, even when she tries not to be, because she's on. But she's doing great. But can you 50? No, yes. It doesn't seem right. Well, it isn't right. So anyway, but I thought that was really, really sad. But she's doing okay. And of course, her resume is so great. She's probably got another job already, but still. That just goes to show what stress does to you.
Any more of that?
No. Good to see you guys. on the gym board. Who bought that property? Do you know who bought it? Yeah. But I loved it. It was 1,100 square feet. Right. He's right there talking to behind the left. I don't know. Anyway. Hi.
What a really sweet thing. Oh. Is it the other end? That's really sweet.
Is this all your family celebrating you? I'm gonna try not to cry, but I will. Oh, hi, guys. Don't Nathan, Cindy. Okay, awesome. You too. Love your mom and dad. You're the best, right?
Tracy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Sorry. I've only had one glass of water. Okay. We all do. I think we all do, don't we? Aw. That's a great thing. That's just wonderful. So guess what? I'm dating a guy who has hair like you.
Oh no.
Oh yes.
Oh dear.
Long, and I keep telling him not to get a cut. I said, don't cut that hair.
Yeah, no, yeah. That's like.
Do not cut that hair. Well, I like it, and then I like when there's that little flip back. So don't cut your hair too much, all right? That's it.
Another crazy.
That'll work.
Another crazy. More recently, maybe I'm Christian. I'm Christian. This friend of mine, right, this guy. So as he's situated all the way. Yes.
to meet you. Like, are you listening to me? You know, nice to meet you. John Cleveland. Anybody else want? What is that? I'm just being. It's a lovely thing. But my brother-in-law I just was it carrying a belt? No, he was a big hit song. What song was Wilson Group? They call it mixing. Mixing. I grew up in two lanes, nothing. So I passed. I get half the credit for the Jeopardy question. If I get Alex, You know, and this is always stupid because and she's really a testament to ever. So I mean, it's a great city.
Somebody sit here.
I did everything I could. Everyone was saying this is the best.
Back off.
So the nations have different similar districts. So I think it would have been but it was a residential area. We had to go most of the Yes. Like, the river was a hot. It was inside of it. All right. So they give you one, they are smart. I do that. So what was this? You want Chinese restaurant? So was it kind of in this spirit I used to have a son. You have that wide view going up to the Kent Manor. I was 3 doors inside the I had to do 14 miles and miles ago. And I was staying 15 minutes. I live in a 15 you know, there's amazing things you can do with furniture and fabrics and slip covers. Oh my goodness. All 4 seasons. It's because I one of them is a limousine. It's one of them. And I was looking for a garage. And I said to them, hey, be on the lookout for a garage. You can convertible, you can limousine. We found the garage and said, fuck, you have got to let's go see the house. Island more than not the limousine is 16 years and it just 6 inches. I said, I like the garage. And my partner said, I like the house. Okay, you have the house, I have the garage, you come in with your this is phenomenal. We have in Baltimore, I live on 1,000 blocks of South. And around the corner from Franklin, about 2 blocks. Almost 60 feet. These are the deepest blocks. Most city blocks. Because of you know, 80 years cover us in the building stars because so all of the European money, all of that property, and you know, how the city had a bridge, the street for Calvert Street, it was going to go on the edge of the house and take the house down. All of the property up until the all of the stuff in the square, all of George Washington. How are you? I'm well. How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you.
They said that you can't. So you got the cross. And so they said, if they wrote it on the website that it's big,
Why are you in the close Are you overworking?
I would never have made money. I normally take it, throw it in the short. Is that how you got that? That's how you got that? That's what I'm not doing. That's what I'm not doing. That's really smart. up off of
You leave it?
kind of a
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me okay? How about the chaplain? Can you hear me, the chaplain?
I feel like I know their mother because I've heard so much. That's what I was saying.
Anyone from the chaplain want to just shout out if you can hear the sound coming through upstairs? Let me just ask my tech assistant. Oh, wait, I don't have a tech assistant. Amanda, is there sound in the chaplain? Check. Okay. All right. Well, I'm back. I've gotten some wonderful compliments about my time as an MC, and sadly, I have to let you know that there's more. So hopefully, the problematic jokes coming up don't set you off. But I just want to take a moment to recognize the people that made this party possible. If you're on the party planning committee, please stand up and raise your hands. And how about that catering? Isn't that delicious? The only person that could have catered this better is Jesus. And probably at one 5,000th of the price. 1 5,000th of the price. Do I need to say it a couple more times for you to get it? So it's you. So in general, I'll do my best to keep my part brief, but just enough to get a laugh or two entirely at Tracy's expense. And so we'll get to hear from some wonderful speakers, each offering their own tribute. This.
Oh my God, look.
Jesus has arrived. Just in time. I just got into the scripted part too, so I will return to that. We'll get to hear from some wonderful speakers, each offering their own tribute and celebration of Tracy and Stephen. There are, of course, a great number of ways that we can celebrate, and I know that I will certainly be endeavoring to celebrate you tonight through my humor. And while my role tonight as MC will largely be a comedic one, I'd like to take a moment to speak from my heart about one of the gifts that we have to give Tracy tonight. We as humans must make a choice whether or not to reckon with the question of what is our purpose here. And whatever Tracy's choice on that matter has been these last 17 years, it is clear to us, or it is at least clear to me, and to anyone who knows the love of this community, that there's been purpose here that she has fulfilled. And that the best gift that we have to offer her, in addition to whatever other gifts that might come later this evening, is that we will get to honor that purpose by continuing to thrive and to follow the footsteps of her leadership and her dedication to service and the love of our neighbors. As a community, we will celebrate you by continuing to grow and benefit from your leadership once you're no longer our priest. So that's the end of my genuine time. Everything else is just jokes. Plus, once she retires, then I will be the longest serving staff member with time to respect that. And then all we have to do is teach Thomas how to sing, and all the liturgy can just be all music, right? So Tracy's retirement is really the gift that keeps on giving. So speaking of someone who needs to learn how to sing, I'd like to welcome Thomas.
Apparently this way you'll be able to hear me. A lot of people ask why I keep in this foreign thing this evening. Apparently it's a speech. It's not very long. It's really wonderful to see this place so full. I hope we'll be able to do that more now that we're in this special place that we're in. It's great to see you all here this evening. You know, many people think that holiness is a kind of conformity. To be holy, they think, is to conform to all kinds of rules, to ways of living. It means that you're kind to everyone, you cross yourself at all the right points in the liturgy, you never swear, and ideally, you don't have too much fun either. But being holy, of course, has far more to do with attending to God in the world, attending to God in your life. Far more than discerning where God is calling you than paying attention to the rules. And when we follow God, we become more uniquely ourselves. We become far less of a stereotype and actually far more just kind of weird and wonderful. I think there's a naturally occurring phenomenon in every sphere that those who find themselves reasonably capable as leaders often come to think of their style of leadership, their way of doing things, their priorities, their approach to the job as being the only right one. And sadly, that's often true in the priesthood too. In the course of my training, I've encountered a good few clergy who had little interest in helping me to grow into who God was calling me to be, but were instead very keen in helping me to be just like them. And while, to be fair to each of them, they had real gifts to offer in ministry, I knew that God was calling me to be not simply a younger version of themselves, but to be some kind of priest that God already envisioned within me. When I first spoke to Tracy over the phone, I quickly felt that wasn't something I needed to worry about with her. But it was really when I first visited the parish and when I had lunch with her and Stephen that I really knew that Tracy was a priest that I could work with. Sitting down to small talk over crab cakes, Stephen began to ask Ron where he came from. We were surprised Stephen and Tracy turned out to know Northern Ontario really quite well, especially the lakes and the rivers. Tracy's family turned out, like many families from Ohio, had vacationed on Lake Tomogany. And Stephen shared that she was actually conceived on Lake Tomogany. And on their most recent trip to the lake, Tracy had been skinny dipping in Lake Tomogany. This wasn't the interview small talk that I was expecting. And I was relieved to know for sure that I wasn't going to be working with a priest who conformed to any stereotypes of holiness or expected others to do the same.
Yeah, they are different.
Tracy, I'm the 8th cleric who has had the honor of working with you as an associate in this parish. I don't know them all, but the ones I know are as diverse a bunch of people as I would hope to see. They are people who, like myself, have obviously gained from working with the wonderful priests who you are, but have grown not to be copies of you, but, as if that were possible, but to be the weird and wonderful priests who God's called us to be. And I know that looking at the weird and wonderful people who are here this evening, that so many of us have valued your encouragement to attend to God and to be faithful to God's call, and to grow into holier, more unique, more weird and wonderful versions of the people God calls us to be. Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you, Thomas. That was beautiful. Oh my gosh, that's actually what I have written right here. But before we go getting too carried away with all the adorations, there's something I really need to bring to your attention. There was a discovery recently of how it was that the church came to burn down in 1867. It seems that there is, in fact, a video of that Christmas Day fire. And I think that you might find it might surprise you. And so I talked to someone who might be able to shed some light on it for us. So please turn your attention to the screens. If you're in the chapel, you might not be able to see it too well on those screens. So that's it.
Excellent. I love it.
Sound is not refined for this camera, We're not supposed to see that yet.
Cheers. Tracy with the pound.
From 1860.
because there was something that had fallen back on it. Okay, and you're saying that Tracy is the person that seems to burn to the church down?
Am I the only one that thinks it's concerning and nothing? It really makes me think. Raises some questions for me at least. But I guess that explains why we burn the palms at the pancake supper now, not for Christmas. But what it doesn't explain is, if that was Tracy in 1867, how is it that she could be elected prom queen in 1970? I don't think this whole Tracy as a vampire conspiracy theory has any credibility. But just to be sure, we better look at some more high school yearbook photos, right? Clearly not a vampire, right? So clearly not a vampire. You know who else is not vampires? This beautiful cheerleader. Tracy, you have my vote of confidence as a human here, not a vampire that burned the church down. But that's all of that. But it is true, that Tracy is responsible. That really brings into question the members of the 2005 search committee and whether there's any negligence there. And I think that we have a member of that search committee here tonight, Frank Martin. Where's Frank? Yes. So please welcome Frank to the microphone.
Thank you, Ben. That's a tough act to follow. But I wanted to take a chance to speak a little bit about the Reverend Stephen Davenport, who's with us tonight. And Stephen, we appreciate all the years that you have been with us. And in particular, I'm going to pause after each of these phrases because I think this is really some of the gifts that Stephen gave our parish. Stephen has been an inimitable example of unwavering long-term commitment to Haiti. It is just unbelievable what Stephen has brought to Haiti along with Tracy and their family and all the folks. Stephen, I secondly wanted to recognize the strong support for our youth that you've provided to contribute to our work in Haiti. Laura's with us tonight, my wife Laura, and our son Grayson, and in particular our son Craig, who's now 21, has tremendous respect for Stephen for everything he's done in Haiti and Craig's time with you in Haiti. So thank you. Early in Tracy's journey with us, Stephen came to one of our vestry retreats, and Stephen said, we need a commission structure. And he drew it on the board and really gave us a vision for the type of structure that would help us be much more effective and intentional as a parish. And so, Stephen, also wanted to thank you on behalf of the parish for your advocacy for our commission structure, which is so strong today. And there's no doubt, Stephen has been a quiet, consistent, spousal support for Tracy's life and vision for our parish. Thank you, Stephen. Finally, it goes without saying, Stephen provides good humor, wise words, and some wise cracks along the way.
Our next speaker tonight is someone who I really enjoyed working with when we overlapped here. Joseph Cochran is, where are you, Joe? Oh, he's right there. All right. And it's good to see you again. When he left, he printed out a thing. So Joseph Cochran printed out. That was very nice what I said. Thank you. I need to crack down during rehearsal every So when Joe left, he printed out a thing that said, "What's up, chicken butt?" and hid several of them around the office that we were finding for about a year after. So Joseph Cochran, it's good to see you again. And did everyone see that? Okay. All right. Well, so please welcome Joseph Cochran.
Thank you, Ben. What's up, Ben? What's up? What's up? John, what's up? He can't hear me. So, thank you. That little fire clip brought back some really bad memories for me. So I'm really sorry you put that together. Because, Tracy, do you remember the morning I set the altar on fire? You remember that? The altar girl have those paper doilies up there. And it's John Schilling's fault. Because he bought that new thing, the little flame thing with the wick on the end of the taper. And I was up there lighting the candle, and the wick went right off out of the end of it on the paper doily. Do you remember that? And it actually woke up the 8 o'clockers. Did you know that, Ben? I set the church on fire. So, coming out of seminary for me was kind of rough because that last semester, that's the semester everybody's hearing about calls. Where are you going? Where are you going to work? And all semester, all my classmates, well, I'm going here, I'm going there. And it was late spring before I had any inkling of where I might be going. In fact, I was the second to last in my class to have a call. So it was very nerve-wracking that whole spring. Pam and I had gotten to the point where we were thinking, dang, we might just be moving back to Virginia. back into the house, and then what do we do? But then we realized we had the house rented probably through the end of the year, I think, which meant I had to move back in with my mom. So we were getting a little nervous. There was no call coming. I had no interviews. And then out of the blue, I get this call from Maryland, and it's a priest by the name of Tracy Bruce, and she calls me out of the blue. I'm like, who is this? This could be it. And we had a good conversation that day. It was very nice. And it just so happened about a week later, I needed to be in the Diocese of Virginia for a meeting, part of my process. And so I went to that meeting, and then I got in the car with my mom, and we drove up here, a little recon visit, just to see what the place looked like. And we came around the corner here, and there it is. And I was like, oh, it's beautiful, it's beautiful. This is perfect for you. And I'm like, oh, wait, I don't know, Mom. She's like, no, this is great, let's go in. No. Well, can't we just drive through? No. And we did. We drove the circle and got out, and I hightailed it out of here. Well, about a week later, Tracy called. Said, we want to interview you. Great. So came up with the interview. But that's not so good for me because I've learned as an adult, in all the jobs I've had as an adult, I've never interviewed well. And I've gotten these jobs despite my interviews. And so, although, Thomas, we didn't have the interesting conversation at lunch like you had. Canadian lakes and conceiving and other things like that. We didn't cover that kind of territory. But I interviewed with Tracy, and then she had me meet with the search committee that she put together. And after that, I think I dropped like to 4th or 5th on the list to be considered. And because the committee was not convinced. And who's here was on the committee? Tracy though said, no, I think this is our guy. And so you, I think, against the advice of the search committee, said, no, we're going to hire this guy. And so you And so I was called here. That's the only interview, the only call, the only interest anyone had in me coming out of seminary is you, Tracy Bruce. Thank you so much. So later, at some point, maybe in the interview process or at some point, you said, well, Joe, you were on this list of highly sought after 2013 seminary grads. I'm like, what? Because that list didn't make it very far around. No one was seeking after me. You said, yeah, I found your name on a list, so I thought I'd give you a call. I don't know if you remember telling me that, but that list must have come out late spring. So to my great benefit, you ignored the sensibilities of the search committee, and I came here. And I've been grateful ever since. You were a perfect mentor for me coming out of seminary. Just perfect. And you taught me so much, Tracy, but not by instruction necessarily. Sometimes you instructed me, but most of the time it was by example. Fantastic example. I don't think any seminary coming out of seminary will have a better example than you. You modeled for me how to be a priest, but two areas in particular. One was in pastoral care. You modeled for me how to be a pastor and to love people as a priest. And then the second thing you did, you gave me freedom. You kept talking about your ministry, Joe, your ministry here in this place. And you always encouraged me to exercise my ministry. And I can't tell you how tremendously empowering that was, that you would trust me with my ministry, my crazy initiatives and thoughts. And every day, Tracy, I use what you modeled for me. I use it at St. James Mountain. Every day I use something you've taught me, some example you've given me. And it's to my great benefit, but more importantly, it's to the great benefit of the people of St. James. And the people of St. James should be grateful as I am, that I was able to work with you for a few years. So, Tracy and Stephen, congratulations. Godspeed and enjoy.
Speaking of how we got our jobs, when Tracy hired me 5.5 years ago, it sort of happened as a fluke. You see, she had worked with my brother at a diocesan convention. He's also an organist and a music director. And she wanted to hire him or someone like him. So she took him out for some Indian food and asked him about the job prospects or candidates. And he said, well, you know, I'm happy where I am, but I do have a brother. And let me tell you, I'm pretty sure this next joke is one to make you wish she had succeeded in hiring my brother instead of me. Here's why. In working closely with Tracy these last 5.5 years, I've had the wonderful privilege of getting to share a number of vulnerably heartfelt conversations with Tracy. In one such conversation, Tracy once confided in me the 2 things she cherishes the most about being priest here at St. John's. Telling me that her second favorite thing about her time was getting to serve such a loving community and to lead them in following Christ's footsteps. And that her absolute favorite thing about being a priest here at St. John's is dropping babies during baptisms. And that she almost always managed to make it look like an accident. Clearly, I'm joking, because obviously her favorite thing about being a priest here at St. John's is working with me. But that's as good of an introduction as I can write for her children.
So this is going to be really good because none of us have notes. So you all are here because you love my mom, and I have always loved my mom so much. And when we were little, it was really hard because I was always jockeying for attention with my brothers, and it was, not easy. And I always felt like I never had enough of her attention. So you can imagine my consternation when she decided that she wanted to become a priest. And not only would she be tending to our needs, but also the needs of hundreds and hundreds of parishioners who we were constantly reminded through pagers and midnight phone calls and all sorts of other ways of reaching her in emergency that their needs oftentimes came in front of ours. So it's not always easy being a preacher's kid. Why we have sort of a bad reputation, I think. Preacher's kids, not us particularly. But I think part of that is that you have to share your wonderful person. You have to share them with so many other people. And that can sometimes be hard. It means you're not available on a lot of weekends, you're not, a lot of holidays, you're either not available or you're very exhausted. But, having been here 17 years, I think is really a testament to how much she loves you all. And how much she was willing to really sacrifice to be here and be that person for you all. And I have the blessing of really being able to share that as well, because I've been also a member of this parish for almost just as long, I think. And there's really no one else that I would rather share her with than you all. You have been absolutely amazing, and you have just, I think, made her life so meaningful. And it's just such a pleasure to be here and see all of your beautiful faces and to see how much she's touched each of you. And so rather than feeling jealous, I feel like at this point in my life, I just feel really blessed to have had her as my mom and to get that special attention, even though I'm sharing her with so many. So,
yeah, this is really special. I know some of you, I don't know many of you because I came all the way from California where we're not allowed to even eat our eggs unless they come from free-range chicken. A very long way against all odds with one of my sons to be here, and it's really, really special to see the amount of love that is coming out tonight from my mom. Some of the conversations I've had tonight have been ones that were sad. I mean, I feel like this is the closing of a journey that started for us when I was, I guess 9 or 10, and then Anne was a year and a half younger, it was 5 years younger than that. And I thought, oh, this is a crazy thing. My mom comes and she says, oh, I'm going to go to seminary, and I'm going to be a priest. And so, in some ways, it feels like that was a really long time ago. And in some ways, that feels like that wasn't that long ago at all. And so, in that vein, I feel like this is, it's crazy that, I guess compelled that this is your retirement. And even though some of the people I've talked to tonight have some sadness about that, there's a lot of love for my mom. And so a lot of people are really sad that she's still going to be around. She'll still creep up and be here every once in a while, I'm sure, right, Mom? But I want to reassure everybody that it's not just sadness. There are some people that have some joy. When I told my oldest son who's somewhere, I think is alive, but is somewhere around here tonight, that Granny was retiring, and I said, isn't that sad, and it's the end, kind of the end of her career. He's like, no, that's great. She can come out for longer than 2 or 3 days. And I want to reassure you too, there's some other happiness too. So Stephen doesn't like to be cooped up for too long, and so the same way our chickens are free range now because of the retirement scheme, also it's like
So, corresponding to her order, I'm also going to go last. But hopefully that's not a bad thing. So my grandmother, Tracy's mother, was very close to me and us, and towards the end of her life, I remember, I don't know what the situation was, but I asked her how she was feeling, and she said she was feeling very melancholy. And I said, Grandma Faye, what do you mean by that? She's like, well, I'm both sad and happy at the same time. And I don't know if this corresponds to the OEG definition of melancholy necessarily, but it's something I've always carried with me. And I felt a sense of melancholy tonight, seeing many faces who I do recognize, meeting others who I know through being with your kids in Haiti, siblings as well, and in other circumstances. And there was a part of me that felt a sadness, and that I didn't get to know much of you better. At the same time, a measure of joy in that there are so many of you who really love our mother. Present tense, love our mother, and Stephen, and haven't forgotten that. And for that, even though this occasion is dedicated to celebrating both of them and their 17 years here, I just want to say how much we're grateful for all of your love that you reciprocated. All of the times that we've been able to come here, a place of real just sort of peace and love. My wife and I were married here over 4 years ago. Cassie and Lucy again were married here longer than that ago. And so many other life events that we've had here. And we just want to express our gratitude to all of you. And from one youngest child to another, I also want to shoehorn in here our Uncle David, Tracy's younger brother.
Appreciate it, thank you. You know, if your feet are going to hit the ground on this planet, I would advise you to have a big sister. And I hope she'll be like mine. I want to share just a few snapshots from my 60 years of being her little brother. So it's 1967, I'm about 5 years old. There's a big expanse of grass between our house and our neighbor's house. And you saw that pretty face from a high school. On my chest is this big sister sitting on my chest, got her knees on my arms. My arms are flailing. I've got tears in my eyes. I'm like, I'm having some kind of an issue. And, you know, I don't know what it was. You know, sometimes there were mean things that happened in our house that made my mother cry. You know, at those days, it was actually an older neighbor boy who was very interested in teaching me about body parts. But there was some conflict going on, and she knew it. The rest of the family might not, but she knew it. And so I say this about Tracy sometimes, and this might resonate with you. Tracy is not afraid to tear off the Band-Aid, right? And what I would say is that I think it's a good thing. She would know when I was going through something that was significant and where it wasn't okay for me to smile my way through it or get partially healed, but the real active pain would still be there somewhere. And she would assert herself at a very young age. She would confront my father, who everyone was afraid of in our family, at an early age. She thought that something in the house wasn't happening in a good way for him or our family. And that's something that I think maybe some of you have seen in the way she goes about things. Her sense of what you're going through and her efforts to address it with you and try to help you through it. 1974, I'm 11. We jump in the car and we go to Tracy's graduation from college. I'm super proud. She's the first Bruce to go to college. You know, a little kid who was on the street in Edinburgh, Scotland, got snatched off the street and put on to a ship and brought over and sent into indentured servitude in Pennsylvania. And that was like 1760s. And all those years and all those pieces of crummy dirt in Kentucky and Indiana and Ohio, and no one went to college, or no one finished college until Tracy. And not only that, but you know, I'm this 11-year-old, and she got the highest honor given to any female student in her graduating class. So I'm thinking, whoa, my sister, what she could be, you know, she could be really anything in this world, right? And it's really true. 1991, I'm a junior executive in a poorly fitting suit, meeting my big sister. I'm in New York City for a meeting. She's in seminary. We go to dinner in a little Indian restaurant in Chelsea. Chelsea wasn't a nice place in those days, early 90s. Chicken vindaloo, and I'm looking across, and she's got a flimsy jacket on. It's cold. She's living really a sparse existence. She's pursuing this dream. She's missing her kids like crazy. Right? She's not supported, by most anyone at that time for what she wanted to do. My parents were like, "What's this all about?" But I looked at her at that dinner, and I knew this is, she found what she wanted to do. And, in this world, you got some people have a vocation. Some people also can have an avocation. I play around in a band aside to try to make up for the fact that maybe my vocation isn't always fulfilling for me. But some people in this world have a calling. That's a different thing. And it's really what my sister has. It's 2017, and we're here for the blessing of the house. A daughter has joined me who's at NYU. I've got a daughter in high school, and we get a chance to be together and experience the blessing of the house here. Walk these grounds, meet all you wonderful people, to see the service. And I'm looking around and seeing horse farms. I'm seeing fields. I'm remembering all those visits with my family members to go to funerals in Kentucky and drink out of cisterns and taste sulfur water and see tobacco curing in barns. And I'm thinking, she's found her spot. So I really just want to say to all of you, thank you for welcoming my big sister and her family and Stephen and all of us for all these years. It's really been so special. And to Tracy, who's guided me and inspired me and loved me, especially in my most unlovable moments, right? I just want to thank you also, Tracy, and cheers, everyone. I didn't mean to make it so heavy. I just love you so much.
So in 2017, in July, it's my first time to Haiti, and I'm next to Peter, sitting 3 in the backseat of a car, driving around the mountains. And it's a long drive, and I tell a joke, and Peter groans, and I tell another joke, and probably about the same reaction to that one too. And about a minute goes by, and he says, "Well, you can't stop now." So if any objections are out there to my humor, I invite you to blame Peter. Tracy, I know that I speak for everyone here when I say that we are so excited for you to see what God has in store for you in this next chapter of life. But in the meantime, here is what I have in store for you in the next chapter this evening. So please turn your attentions to the screen for a brief introduction.
On the other hand, if Jesus is the God Messiah, I politely said, "Well, sir, where the hell he is."
Tells a different story, right? Some services took a bit more editing. Next up, we have William Brewster Isaacs, who you might know as Billy. So please welcome Billy to the microphone.
I really do not know what to say. That good. Oh, can you hear? Can you hear me?
No.
Just an unbelievable outpouring of affection for Tracy and Stephen. Just being here tonight, seeing folks that I have not seen for literally years. This reminds me of sort of where we are, time and space, and how wonderful it is to have this opportunity to get together, group, and to come together and acknowledge the unbelievable beings of Stephen and Tracy Bruce. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Stephen tonight. Don't try to get over some of Vince's jokes. I really, pretty basic. So Stephen R. Davenport III was born in Charlottesville, Virginia. He grew up in Kentucky. He was a star linebacker on the championship Washington Lee University football team, which lost only one game over 3 seasons. The man loves football. And I think he's particularly proud of the Commodores, Commanders, I should say. That they beat the Eagles last week. So Stephen received his theology training from Virginia Theological Seminary in Alexandria, Virginia. To say that there are clergy in Stephen's family is a major understatement. Stephen is a direct descendant of the original Reverend John Davenport, who founded New Haven, Connecticut in 1638. He played a significant role in founding the Yale University. Stephen's brother is a priest. His father was a priest. So were his uncle, his uncle, grandfather, his great-grandfather, his great-great-grandfather. His sister, Mary, was a priest. Tracy holds the true honor of being the first female priest not only in St. John's, but in the Davenport family. From a genealogy point of view, I'm sure Stephen's most important relationships and accomplishments are the raising of his wonderful family that we have seen tonight. And it's so incredibly wonderful to have them here to celebrate this occasion. The Davenports, these are Earlys, these are Hafners, and Duval, Lucien, just a wonderful group. So in 2006, we essentially got two priests for the cost of one. What an incredible duo. Together, Tracy and Stephen have over 75 years of ministry. Over the past 17 years, Stephen has been available to do what was needed at St. John's, whether it be teaching Sunday school, setting off some aeronautic acrobatics high up in the sanctuary of the church, identifying the prominent and not so prominent folks in our cemetery, along with Bill McMillan, and serving as preacher whenever the occasion called for it. He has truly been the Swiss Army knife for the St. John's community. My first close interaction with Stephen was on a trip I took to Haiti in 2007 with Stephen, Tracy, our 10-year-old daughter Martha, my nephew James, and Peter Hatton, and Will Fenton. We traveled to Port-au-Prince, St. Etienne's, and Jacqueline. This was an incredible trip. I was just getting to know both Tracy and Stephen, and there was no better way to do this than making the journey with them to Haiti. A trip that they had taken so many times before to a country and a people that they loved so much and knew so much about. What I began to realize was that Stephen is a teacher of the highest order. He always has a story that is not people, and a lesson to be learned. Whether it be about religion, social activism, politics, sports, etc. I think Stephen knew just about everyone worth knowing in Haiti. And in Stephen's eyes, just about everyone there was worth knowing. He knew the well-to-do and the poor, the artists, the musicians, the teachers, the guides, the clergy, the interpreters, politicians, statesmen, taxi drivers. With many of these folks, Stephen had developed strong relationships which can only grow from the many times that they visited, and depended upon developing a sense of trust and connectedness that could not be accomplished otherwise. These efforts demonstrating the value of caring relationships and confidence building as a result of listening and direct personal interaction, and the power for good that can emerge from such efforts. I think this was the key to Stephen's and Tracy's success in Haiti. The influence that our trips to Haiti had on our family, as well as others, was profound. Many of the finest attributes that I see in Martha, our daughter, are ones that were fostered by either events or behaviors that she and I witnessed from Stephen and Tracy while in Haiti. Of course, it does not mean that you need to go to Haiti to see what great examples Stephen and Tracy are for all of us. Stephen inspires Tracy. They inspire each other. I don't think I have ever met another couple so obviously admired and loved one another. They're such good friends. They respect and compliment each other as people, as clergy, as husband and wife. Stephen, clever, wise, determined, committed, awesome sense of humor, dedicated, fair, an activist for the downtrodden and underserved. Stephen, along with his and Tracy's beloved friend, the late David Cesar, were instrumental in the formation of the choir group Les Petits Chanteurs of the Holy Trinity Music School in Port-au-Prince, which our St. John's community has been generous in supporting and has had the experience firsthand by multiple visits and performances at St. John's over the past 15 years, and by inviting these intrepid and talented young folks into our homes for incredible exchanges of cultural experiences. Stephen tirelessly organized and personally delivered this group of lovely Haitian performers to over 300 concerts performed up and down the East Coast, actually all over the U.S. and Canada. Stephen's never-ending efforts in this realm were recognized by the award of an honorary doctorate degree from Yale University in October of 2013 for acknowledgement of his extensive work with the Holy Trinity Music School and with the greater Haiti community in general. Going back in time a bit, shortly after Tracy and Stephen had met, evidently when Stephen realized that there was an opportunity of getting to know Tracy better, he called Tracy and said, "I want to be the first in line." Tracy responded, "There is no line." Well, there was a line, and Stephen started and ended it. While Tracy lived in Atlanta, Stephen, who was traveling a lot, would schedule all his trips to Atlanta Airport. So he could call Tracy and see if they could get together because he just happened to be in town. I recall a day in Haiti on the way to St. Etienne's when we stopped for lunch. I think we were the only ones at the restaurant. We ate our lunch and went back to our cars. Steve and Tracy were nowhere to be found. Didn't take long until they were discovered dancing a waltz all by themselves in the ballroom. No music, just the harmony of these two soulmates being together. What makes Stephen Davenport so special? He cares, he is fearless, he is generous, he is high on the wisdom scale. He knows what's important, what we need to pay attention to, and maybe other things that we don't need to pay so much attention. Well, by the way, Stephen is also a vintage car enthusiast. A very special relationship with just one car. 1982 Chrysler LeBaron convertible, which I think he got from his mom. I would just like to take this opportunity to thank Stephen for coming here, for accompanying your most wonderful wife on this adventure. and for being an unfailing rock for Tracy, for allowing us and making it possible for us to take so much of Tracy's time over all these years. Your love for one another is such a wonderful thing. Has worn off on us. You will always be in our hearts. Thank you so much for blessing us with love and care. And for being such awesome examples of how to live as Christians. We have been so fortunate to have you both as our priests, our teachers, our guides, and friends. And thank you.
There's so much to be said about our next speaker. She's a wonderful leader, a beautiful person, has a beautiful singing voice, and oh, by the way, once Tracy retires, she'll be in charge of staffing, and so I have no insults or no jokes, only compliments, and also some music, so choir.
Our next speaker tonight is the wonderful so please clap your hands together and welcome her to the microphone.
Please take notice. When I bring out the Thanksgiving dinner, you know what I'm expecting. I just want to start tonight. I know that Ben acknowledged the celebration committee who worked so hard for this event, but I'd actually like to read the names quickly. Cindy Sullivan, Amanda Warden, Will Cook, Rebel Boykin, Freddie Shaw, Ann Fenwick, Paisley Isaacs, Danielle Oster, Sally Bauer, Jared Hancock, Ben Buchanan, and Moira Hope. Thank you all for the I'd also like to thank the people who've given gifts in kind. Our wine contributions from Annette and Philip Gillette, Christopher and Lucy Gillette, Martin Pickett Collins, and Kenny Ward did our desserts. So thank you all so much. You know, I find it very hard to believe that we're here on November 19th, just 6 weeks away from when Tracy's last day of the pulpit at St. John's will be, and Tracy's and Stephen's departure from our long and wonderful relationship as stewards of this place we love and the people we love. While I've been keenly aware of the passage of time, while I've been trying to hire an interim minister for next year and planning this celebration, I find myself completely unprepared to say goodbye. I just cannot believe that it's around the corner. I've cherished having both of you here among us. Stephen as a teacher, a historian, a storyteller, a companion on our trip to the Holy Land, a dry wit, a person with whom I could swap some Kentucky tales with, and as Frank and Billy so perfectly spoke about, a dedicated champion of our friends and mission work in Haiti.
And Tracy, you've been our priest, our pastor, our leader, our spiritual guide, our fundraiser, our source of good humor, particularly your unending supply of New Yorker cartoons. And on a very personal note, I've cherished our deep and abiding friendship. At the core of what Tracy has shown us this past 16 plus years is how to live into our Christian faith, to welcome the stranger, to love our neighbors, and respond to what God is calling us to do in our personal lives and as a Christian community. She has a unique way of meeting people where they are and making them feel comfortable at St. John's and in our community. At the time my grandson Jack was baptized by Tracy last year following a delay for COVID, he was about 8 months old. And as Tracy held him in her arms, he leaned forward and put his forehead on Tracy's forehead. And even at 8 months, Jack knew that the person holding him was one who welcomed those into her arms and by extension into God's loving embrace. You both will be leading us, having marked us with your selfless loving care, your commitment to outreach, your faithfulness, your humility, your humor, your work ethic, and having inspired us to be a better St. John's for our fellow parishioners, our community, and for the people beyond our walls. For that, we will be forever grateful. We will say our goodbyes with hearts full of love for both of you, and we will wish you Godspeed and all the best in the days and years ahead. But in the meantime, we will treasure these last 6 weeks with you and lift our voices in thanksgiving for your time among us. Thank you.
Tracy, even though I painted a slanderous picture of you as a baby dropping vampire priest whose name I can't remember that burned down the church, I hope you know that I love you. And so, my friends, as my time as your MC comes to a close, one of Tracy's favorite benedictions comes to mind. It's that beautiful fourfold Franciscan blessing that she loves. And I won't read it here tonight, you'll have to come to church tomorrow to hear it. But it puts forth a list of 4 things for God to bless each of us with. Discomfort at easy answers? Check. I think, Tracy, that you got that for sure. Anger at injustice? There's no doubt about it. Tears to shed for those who suffer from pain? Check. And lastly, enough foolishness to believe that you can make a difference in this world. Now, I don't think I speak for myself when I say that, Tracy, we know for sure that you have enough foolishness in that regard. Just maybe some others. But that is the inspiration for our last musical offering tonight, called Just Enough Foolishness. And I'm going to need some audience participation for this. It's based on a classic drinking song. You might recognize the melody. And I'm going to teach you the words real quick, and then I'll teach you the melody a bit at a time. And then we'll sing it based on 10 limericks with a repeated refrain in between. So if you can repeat after me. It's going to be a long night, y'all. So, okay, the words are, Oh, Tracy Bruce. Oh, Tracy Bruce. We know that we must set you loose. We know that we must set you loose. Let's put those together. Oh, Tracy Bruce. We know that we must set you loose. So if we cry through our cheers, to a great 17 years, we love you, so that's our excuse. We love you, so that's our excuse. Let's try it all together. Oh, Tracy Bruce, we know that we must set you loose. So if we cry through our cheers to a great 17 years, we love you, so that's our excuse. Okay, you'll pick up on the melody, but it goes like this. Oh, Tracy Bruce. have Thomas Swain from New York, Zoe Wojciechowski, who's our resident soprano, Jared Hancock, our resident bass, Darius Sanders, our resident tenor, and Miranda Brugman, who came in from Silver Spring. She was with us for like 3 years, 2 years, something like that.
Once was a rector named Tracy. Sermons could often be racy. The one against sex left the faithful perplexed, because her service was ever so lazy. Oh, Tracy Rose, we know that we must set you loose. Whose great 17 years, we love you till that's our excuse. La 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 la. Sing the gospel with great familiarity, mixing in humor while speaking with clarity, but ignoring our pleas for sermons such as these. Tracy delivers one. Oh, what a rarity. Oh, Tracy Rose, we know that we must set you loose. So we ride through our tears to a great 17 years. We love you, and that's our excuse. La 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 la. From the back view we hear heavy breathing. It's the sound of a sleeping heathen. Your eyes know no lies, and it's no big surprise. It's your beloved husband, Stephen. Oh, Tracy Rose, we must set you loose. To the great 17 years, we love this, and that's our excuse.
When rights once got you wishing for some sort of sermon exposition, well, the answer you find should ring in mind. Does the New Yorker pay attention?
Oh, Tracy Rose, we know that we must set you loose. To the great 17 years, we love you till that's our excuse. La 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 la. Funean creol, an prisuple, ma sheshe, ajandomi satsupe. Tot nun par comprare se o tengo problem, Tracy, say on cocoye. Oh, Tracy Rose, we know that we must set you loose. To the great 17 years, we love you till that's our excuse. La 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 la. Tracy is our lovely rector. The vestry, they did elect her. But if she won't leave, then we'll all have to leave her out the door and eject her. Oh, Tracy Bruce, you know that we must set you loose. From your high marches to the great 17 years, we love you so that's our excuse. La, 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 la. Divided and down on your luck, God sent me to get us unstuck. But that color you're wearing won't keep you from swearing, so we might just hear you say, oh, Tracy Bruce. For great 17 years, we love you so that's our excuse. La, 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 la. If you object to this melodic boast, I would have preferred a nice wholesome toast. Blame Ben, he did it, he doesn't get back to it. A sociopath misdiagnosed. Oh, Tracy Bruce. We must set you loose. Back your marches to the great 17 years. We love you so that's our excuse. La, 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 la.
Our counselor, rector, and friend, our love for her never will end. What her time with us first, and as we are just, our best wishes to her we do send.
Oh, Tracy Bruce, we know that we must set you loose. Cheers to the great 17 years, we love you so that's our excuse. Oh, Tracy Bruce, we know that we must set you loose. Ride your marches to the great 17 years, we love you so that's our excuse. La, 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 la.
We had a couple more, but we decided to. But I'll give you the full set, Tracy. Cheers to Lee Carpenter for contributing, I think, the first one, the last one, and the one about your lacy surplus. Cheers to my brother who helped me write the one about ejecting you. So thank you, and that's the end of my buffoonery.
Who's the lady sitting with
Well, if there's ever a doubt how we scored big time with Ben, Now to the good part. I don't know, is it on now? Yes. This first gift we have is a reflection of our appreciation for the humor that Tracy has brought to the pulpit over the last 16 years. Tracy, can you come up here? artist named Carter Mulcahy to draw 4 cartoons in the fashion of New Yorker cartoons. Hoping that when you look at these at your new home, you'll think of all of us who love you here at St. John's. And Ben is going to show them up on the screen as well. But the other 3 that will show on the screen. Anyone who has been at any sermon at St. John's knows that Tracy is a prolific user of the North. So we hope to give you a chuckler as you walk past. Oh yeah. You want to go back? Okay, this is Tracy holding a picture of Tracy holding a picture of Tracy. It says, Tracy finds the perfect sermon illustrator. The next one is, I know I'm retired, but it's just such a special liturgy. And there are preachers coming out from part of the landscape. And then this is, yes, we're done with the blessing, and we bless you too, to the box. Do you want to come over to the rectory? And then finally, I guess they never did do that background I'd like to invite Cindy Sullivan to the microphone for the second presentation.
Well, I'm here on behalf of the Mission Commission, formerly known as Outreach. The Mission Commission here at St. John's supports various ministries, including Paul's Place, Project Hope, Reach High Baltimore, the Samaritan Community, United Churches Assistance Network, and Holy Trinity Music School in St. Etienne. As most of you know, Tracy and Stephen have invested a very large portion of their lives in Haiti. Stephen has been working with the St. Etienne's community since 1981, Tracy since 1992. Tracy has led over 20 groups to work and worship with people of St. Etienne's, and amongst other things, she has worked with the women's group there developing microloans for women's business. Well, there's a new building being constructed there with help from St. John's, which will be used as a guest house for visitors. As a way to honor Tracy, and with the enthusiastic support of the St. Etienne's community, they will be installing a plaque in the wall of this new building. So, just like us, the people of the mountains of Haiti love Tracy, and they want to commemorate her tireless efforts to provide them with better lives. So the plaque is on order, but fortunately we have a picture of what it will look like when it arrives. It says, in thanksgiving for the Reverend Tracy A. Cruz, St. John's Western Run, Linden, Maryland, 2023.
And for the final gift this evening, I'd like to read a certificate. of the Reverend Tracy A. Bruce and her faithful ministry from 2006 to 2022, St. John's Church, Western Run Parish, has collected donations to a retirement fund in the amount of $314,161, dated November 19, 2022. The next part of the program is a rebuttal. Tracy A. Bruce.
Nobody told me what to expect with tonight. They wouldn't even let me come over for 2 days and even look at this incredibly beautiful room. I prepared some remarks, but they really don't. They don't adequately address anything. You all have addressed everything, but oh my goodness. First of all, I want to say how grateful I am. It's been just an incredible privilege. I don't know exactly how I ended up here. It was a strange call. I constructed a resume in 2006 that said I wanted to work in a multilingual, multicultural inner city parish. I love speaking Spanish, I do a little bit of French and a lot of Creole, but some of you know the story, but the church has this computer match system, and so, you know, as priests, when you're searching for a job, you can look at these parishes, and so every day when Stephen and I would go to play tennis, I would read off the lists, you know, on driving from our house to the tennis courts about the places, and I put one sort of profile in one pile and one in another. And so there was this profile for St. John's Glendon, and every time it came up, we would talk about it, and quite logically, Stephen would say, no, that's not for us. And I was supposed to put it in the reject pile. But every time I kept sort of slipping it back in, and he said, so haven't we already rejected that place? And I said, yeah, but I don't know why, I can't quite put it in the garbage. And he said, well, then we should go there and see what it's about. So even then, my goodness, we had so much going on in the spring of 2006. We had 3 graduations in the family and a wedding and all kinds of things. And so finally, when I got back from California after the last event, I called here, and you all had already closed your process. So I just said, well, I was just calling because, you know, what, because God told me, and I couldn't put your profile in the reject pile. So anyway, we came here, and whatever it is, we decided, with my God's grace and with your help, to say yes to a call. I have to say that my mother had died a year before I accepted this call. And so Dubois was living with us at the time, and he said to me on the day we were to move here, he turned to me and in a very Haitian way, he said, now, you know, your mother is here right now, and she's going to travel with you up to your new home, and then she's going to leave. I said, oh, okay, well, so anyway, I got here, I pulled in behind the moving van, and I burst into tears. So only with tonight, with my brother David speaking with everyone, am I aware that, in fact, there was this way in which coming here was God calling me home. And this has been an incredible place to call home for the last 16 plus years. It's been just a privilege for this to be my both physical and spiritual home. I can't thank you enough. To reinforce two things that have already been said. First of all, none of us as clergy do this alone. We do this with great support from our families as well as from the friends and parishioners among whom we serve. I want to thank Stephen. As Billy so adequately said, I couldn't do any of this without the love and support and care that he's given me and that we share. I also, go ahead. I also want to say thank you to my three children. When, as Christian expressed, when we said that I wanted to go to seminary, and I spent literally 9 months away from them, living in New York City. They have been and continue to be my best support in sacrificing on their own behalf for their crazy mother to follow her dream and to listen to God's voice and to do something that, didn't seem regular to them at the time, and I hope seems very regular to them now. But they deserve a lot in terms of the sacrifice that finally, I can't even, I don't even know how to talk about a gift that is the size of whatever. I can't even read the paper. No, nobody deserves it. Nobody. I can't possibly deserve that. I'm going to work at understanding that. It's an expression of your generosity. And so I want to say yes to all of that, but I also, I don't yet understand. It's going to take me some time to understand that. It's just a lot of money. It doesn't make any sense to me. I'm trying to understand that, and I'm really deeply grateful if it's an expression of love, and that's what we're supposed to be doing with each other. I do know that whenever I sort it out, it's going to make a difference in what Stephen and I are able to do in retirement, and that kind of difference was not anything we ever anticipated. So, anyway, I guess many of you have asked him, so I guess it's fair to say that when we're looking for a place to be, it's going to be somewhere here in Baltimore. Yes. For whatever reason, Baltimore has become our adopted home, and we don't know anything. So, I'll figure out what to say to all these, but actually, I can't figure that out right now. I want to thank Ben for his thank him for shared leadership. I want to thank all of you. This is something we have all done together over all these years. It's nothing, it's God bringing us together and then setting us free to do good work. So I couldn't be more grateful for the privilege of this time. And the good news is really we have a chance now to kind of put this to bed. I don't really like being the center of attention. It's okay if it's about Jesus, but if it's about me, I'm really not down on that. So now after this, we do have a chance to spend Advent beginning, and then like Dumas said about my mother, I'll begin the church here with you in Advent, and then I'll slip away, and life will go on, and we will be blessed. So thank you for the richest blessings in my life.
final prayer, I invite you to have a copy of the program where you can see it at the back of the program. You'll see this short liturgy lead taking. The Lord be with you.
Also with you.
Let us pray. O God of unchangeable power and eternal light, look favorably on your whole church, that wonderful and sacred mystery. By the effectual working of your providence, carry out in tranquility the plan of salvation. Let the whole world see and know that things which are cast down are being raised up, and things which have grown old are being made new, and that all things are being brought to their perfection by him through whom all things were made, your Son, Jesus Christ our Lord, who lives and reigns with you in the unity of the Holy Spirit, one God, forever and ever.
Amen.
Even in our goodbyes, there is a blessing. The sorrow of parting is a measure of the depth of the bond we have come to share in Christ.
Thank you, God, that we do not call this alone.
But that this journey toward eternity and toward your heart has been, from the beginning, one that you ordained we should undertake in the glad and good company of our fellow pilgrims. O Spirit of God, be present to us in our parting as you were in our gathering.
Be present in our journeys.
Be present in the time to come.
Be present in our works and our words and our hearts.
Be present in the bonds of our community, Lord Christ.
Never at work among us and through us.
Amen.
Looking over things.
Yes.